Hey, how's it going? I'm Bobby Watts here from US Robotics and Drobotron, and today we've got the DL1200 live stream edition. Currently this is the only one in existence. This is for a customer, but right now I just want to show you what it is, how it goes together, how you set up the live streaming capabilities, and how we fly it. So let's get into it. Okay, so the main part of the aircraft comes in two cases. We've got the big case here for the aircraft itself, and the smaller case here for the screens. So, if we look at the big aircraft itself, it's currently without its custom canopy that's just being finished as we speak. So I've got the landing gear here. So with the landing gear, we're just going to take it apart with the straps. And as you'll see, simple landing gear, and we've got a plug which goes from the aircraft down to the screens on all four. So I'll show you how to put that together in just a second. So you can see we've got the aircraft itself. And then on this guy over here, we've got the screens separated in 4 different segments, and I'll show you how that assembles here, as well as some different cables and such that we're going to use in order to attach this to get the screens attached to the computers that are located inside the aircraft itself. So let's begin with the aircraft, and then we'll move on to the screens. To begin assembly, remove the drone from the case. Extend each of the folding arms, being sure that they lock into place. A little bit of slop is okay, as the screens will tie the whole aircraft together. Next, flip it upside down and insert the landing gear. Tighten each of the landing gear tube clamps. Plug in each of the yellow connectors on each landing gear. There are 4 total, and these go down to each of the screens. Flip the aircraft back upright onto its landing gear. Open the screen case and identify each of the 4 colored screen segments. Note that each of these 4 colors denotes the different motor arm that you will be installing the screen on. Next, flip open each of the custom 3D printed latches and get ready to install it onto the aircraft. Once again, the colored dots denote the motor arm that you will be installing the screen section on. Once you have installed the screen on the correct motor arm, simply fold the latch back over and barely tighten the red screw. Leave it a little loose at this time, as the screens may have to shift on the arm to line up appropriately. Next, locate the screen joining pieces and install them into place. There are 8 total, 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom. Install each of these with the thumb screw. Remember to tighten all 8 brackets both on the top and bottom of the screens. Once the screens are in place, now you can go around and tighten all of the red thumb screws, ensuring that the screens are locked into place. Next, attach the yellow power cable to each of the screens. There are 4 total. Turn the aircraft upside down again and place it down on the table. Now it's time to install each of the screen connectors. Locate the small screen connectors with the orange dots. These are going to be plugged in on the screen. There are 6 total. Plug these screen connectors in while supporting the screen with your other hand from the outside. Next, locate the 3 long cables and attach them to the bottom of the aircraft. Green with green, red with red. Do the same for the screen side. Once again, green with green, red with red, and each of the cables can go to any screen so long as green and red are plugged in where they should be. Do this for all 3 cables. Next, just tighten up any of the loose cable with the included Velcro. We intentionally left these cables long so that each of the cables could reach any of the screen segments. Finally, flip it back over and place it on the ground. Fold the GPS antennas up into a locked position and install the flight batteries. Remove the propeller holders, and finally unfold each of the 8 propellers. Now it's time to set up the ground station. So it's extremely simple. This is the Teradek Bolt 500. So all we have to do is provide power into here and a video signal in through either HDMI or SDI. So in this case, I'm using power from a SWIT battery, and the source is going to be coming from this laptop. So real simple, I'm just plugging the battery in to power up the Teradek. Next, I'm just plugging in the HDMI into my computer. And as you can see, we have live streaming. Okay, so the screen is set up to mirror the same image 3 times. So we had our long 3 cables, and each of those cables is feeding the same signal around for each third of the panels. So the pixel size is 256 by 64. So 256 wide, 64 tall. And once again, the same image will be displayed on sections A, B, and C of the screen. So the same picture multiplied the same picture 3 times. So next we have the remote controller. So the first thing we want to do is make sure the antennas are spread apart and facing forward. Next, we're going to take the tablet clamp and open it up, and you're going to put in any device that runs either iOS or Android. This right here is an iPad Pro, but I know the iOS devices work the best with this app, but Android works okay. Next, we're going to plug in a cable from the USB port into the tablet. So I have USB port right here into my tablet. Next, we're going to turn the radio on. We're going to press the power 1 time, let go, and then press and hold. So we're going to press, and hold. Okay. Once you've turned on the radio controller, plug in both batteries. Next, I'm going to turn on my tablet, and I'm going to launch the DJI Go app. Not DJI Go 4, DJI Go. So the app will open up and begin talking to the aircraft. So as we can see in the app up top, we've got all of our signals and statuses. So green means go, that's good. That means we have GPS hold mode. Right here we see the number 8, that's how many satellites we see. So it needs more than 7 satellites to be able to fly. And then on the top right is our battery voltage. Now we already have it pre-programmed, so when the battery hits 22.1 volts in the air, then we're going to come in and land. It's going to give us a LED warning, and it'll start to tell us low voltage. So when we see 22 volts, we are going to come back in and we're going to land. Critically low voltage, it will not return to home. Simply when you see it get to around the high 21, low 22 volts, bring it back in and land. Okay, so now it's time to fly. So the Drobotron DL1200 is just like flying any other DJI aircraft. So if you're familiar with flying a Spark, a Phantom, a Mavic, S1000, whatever it might be, flying this is the same. So I'm not going to get into exactly all the flight characteristics and exactly how to fly, because it's really the same as any other DJI product. The only thing to mention is that number 1, we have a big wind sail here. So we recommend 15 mile an hour tops for the wind speed. You'll see the aircraft has to lean into the wind to maintain position. That's okay, it's got plenty of power to do so, but if it's any more than 15 mile an hour wind, we would recommend not flying. The second thing is I would recommend a minimum height of maybe 20 to 30 feet. Because the Teradek transmission system is underneath the aircraft, it does best with a clear line of sight between the transmitter on your laptop side and the receiver, which is on board. So as long as you meet those 2 conditions, you're good to go. With regards to flight time, because we have a lot of extra components in here that we don't normally have with a traditional DL1200, our flight time is around a 7.5 minute. I've been going 7 minutes to be safe. But that's fine. Pop up, fly a few circuits around your event, come back, land, change the batteries, and you're good to go. You can go right back up. So an important thing to note before we fly is that the LED is located on the back of the aircraft. And also, the rear two motors, the LED colors are red. So that's the back of the aircraft. All the other LEDs are green, so that represents the rest. But the back two motors and the LED are the back of the aircraft. So, to fly, we simply have to cross the sticks.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on takeoff.
We'll take off here. Move it away a little bit. As you see, works just fine. Practically hands on cover. Got GPS hold. Perfect. Okay, so the battery voltage just reached the high 21s, low 22 volts. So I see at the top right it's turning red. So now it's time to land. We're going to come in and land the aircraft. You'll see the red LED color on the back. It's blinking. That's when we know it's time to come down. And that right there is how we fly the DL1200 Livestream Edition. Hope you enjoy.